Donald Trump is back with a new immigration plan, and let's just say, if walls weren't enough, he's now got his sights set on breaking records for the largest mass deportation in American history. Because why aim small when you can aim for a logistical nightmare? But before he starts handing out one-way tickets to God knows where, let's talk about how realistic this is and what challenges lie ahead. I'm Legally Hype, and this is TSR Newz. Now, during his first term, Trump's administration managed to deport 1.5 million people. His infamous zero-tolerance policy separated thousands of children from their parents at the border, a move experts called inhumane and akin to torture. Additionally, the U.S. economy potentially lost about $96.7 billion in taxes from deported individuals alone. But here's the tea. 800,000 of them people either bounced on their own or they got turned away at the border. That's not exactly setting any records when you compare it to President Obama's deporter-in-chief title, where 2.9 million people were deported in his first term alone and 1.9 million more during the second term. Even Team Biden's deportation numbers for 2023 have outpaced Trump's total first-term tally. But you know Trump, he all about that bigger and better energy, so he going full throttle this time around. So now what's the plan? Well, according to Trump, he has a few options up his sleeve, which include sweeping measures such as calling for a national emergency and deploying the military for immigration enforcement, invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807 to bypass legal hurdles, and strengthening the Department of Defense's role in operations. Now, the Trump team has emphasized that its focus is going to be on deporting immigrants who are committing crimes in America, which, by the way, is something that we already do in this country. For example, today, if someone who is not a citizen of America is arrested and convicted of a crime, once they complete their sentence, they are sent back to the country where they do have citizenship. Think Tory Lanez, for example. Once he's done with his sentence here in America, they're going to release him and put him on a plane right straight to Canada. Recently, though, it's been reported that the Trump administration team is preparing a list of places that it might deport migrants to if they are not welcomed back by their own country. The list of potential places these people may be sent back to includes countries such as Turks and Caicos, Panama, and the Bahamas. Now, part of the reason for this is because the Trump administration wants to be able to deport someone within a week of arresting them in order to keep the deportation numbers high. Historically, mass deportation efforts have been seen in events such as Operation Wetback, where under President Eisenhower, this program deported over 1 million Mexican nationals under harsh conditions. While effective in numbers, it was widely criticized for its lack of due process and harsh methods. Or Sedition Acts of 1798, specifically the Aliens Enemies Act, which allows the detention or deportation of non-citizens during times of war or national emergency, could provide a legal framework for Trump's plan. There's also the Supreme Court case of Korematsu versus the United States. In this infamous Supreme Court case, the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II was upheld as a matter of national security. While Korematsu is now viewed as a cautionary tale of constitutional overreach, it demonstrates how courts have historically justified extreme measures during emergencies. Still, Trump's plan ain't just a throwback. It's facing some big hurdles. For one, the Constitution says that immigrants processed through the legal system get due process. Skipping or fast-tracking legal steps could invite a wave of lawsuits faster than you can even say due process. And using the military for domestic issues, that's a slippery slope. Critics are saying that it's not just bad optics, it's dangerous, blurring lines between military and civilian rule. Now, all of this could hit really close to home for many folks. Families could be torn apart, including those with U.S. citizen kids, and longtime residents might find themselves facing deportation without proper legal checks. States like Arizona and Texas have already been pushing the envelope with laws like Arizona's SB 1070, the first Show Me Your Papers law, which require immigrants to have papers on them and let law enforcement check immigration status during stops. The Supreme Court struck most of it down in 2012, but kept the Show Me Your Papers part. And you know Texas, not wanting to miss out, introduced SB 4, which lets state officials detain people they suspect of being undocumented. Now that's still tied up in legal limbo, but it could give the Supreme Court a reason to reconsider its previous calls on immigration. Arizona, Texas, and a whole bunch of other states are out here making moves mandating local agencies participate in immigration enforcement. If Trump's plan goes through, we could see a patchwork of immigration policies that leave undocumented folks constantly on edge. This is more than a policy. It's a question of America's values and identity.